What's going on? Boys, arm yourselves. Life stuff. 4 topics, I think, today. Maybe we'll get fewer, maybe we'll get more, but the 2 unifying themes for all of them are the mutagenic properties of discomfort and your growth. Because I've been thinking about what my state-centered utopia, my utopian vision, might look like, I've contacted more than 5 education/educational broadcasting nonprofits regarding information packets or recommended newsletters, things like that, because I wanted to start doing a minute or two in front of each video, updating people on the state of the educational system in the United States or educational broadcasting in the United States. Because in my utopia, there would be lots of state-sponsored broadcasting, and most of it would be educational. It would try to be. And I got nothing outside one person who responded saying the best way to help is to send them money. No educational resources, no newsletters, no nothing. Just give me your money. You're not even going to put on a nice verbal or some verbal lingerie and sell me on a dream of helping people before asking me for money. No, you're going to go straight into, after my little explanation, what I'm trying to do, can you help me with this? Just give me your money. And this is not uncommon in the nonprofit world. Frankly, well, to be double frank, I was kind of expecting a little bit better than this. On a hopeful level, on that dreaming level. But on a realistic level, on a I've been doing this for 2 years level, I knew not to expect better, but God, was I hoping just a little bit better than that. But you see, that's why my nonprofit is bleeding. But we're not here to rant about nonprofits. We are here to rant about hatred and how it can work for you, so you can live your best life. Service makes great, dominance makes greater. Have you noticed there are no books on how to be an evil bastard correctly? Books about how to be a shitty person lucratively. Those books don't exist because shit and shittiness are the ladders. You can spend every day of your life, every dollar you earn, helping other people, and then, when you need help, nobody is going to be there for you. The outcome of your desperation is going to depend on how cunning you've become and how vile you're willing to be. And people act like hatred, this foundational, caustic hatred, is the easy road, but accepting your hatred and learning to make it work for you, instead of being victimized by it, consuming yourself, and other people's hatred, is so much harder than it is to pretend you don't hate and other people don't hate. Because to accept your hatred and to start communicating with it is to deny the dream, the fantasy. Humans are better than what they obviously are. And you know accepting hatred is hard, it's scary, because if you go outside and deal with people every day, they give you, every day, reasons not to expect them to be better, not even to hope they might be better. And your stupid ass is still afraid of accepting what people are, and what you are. And I think there's a cosmic reason for these things. Why is my nonprofit failing when we are trying to do good? Why does SOA not make sense, or why do the pieces of SOA not fit together when we tried to have some grand positive mission? Why do these educational nonprofits either not get back with me or get back with me with nothing but a demanding handout? Because service makes great, but dominance makes greater. If you give away all your money to charity, you've done nothing but enrich shitty people. If you volunteer your time, your aid, or your knowledge to people outside charity, all you've done is help shitty people. No, really, 2 points here. 1, stop fantasizing about a better species. That's not us. And 2, no number of what you think are good deeds is going to get you out of damnation, or will alleviate your hurt in any way. You're a rotten person among rotten people. Rip the band-aid off and start being unabashedly selfish. Protect yourself by exploiting the people who would exploit you if they could. Will exploit you if you let them. And this is not a decision you just make. This is something I think you need to accustom yourself to over time. But thankfully, none of us are tree ornaments yet. So unless God strikes us down, the universe decides it's sick of us, or decides it's time for us to ascend a little bit early, we have time. And that is one of the things we are going to talk about. How do we... Time and suffering. Every bit of pain in your life feels like a variable-sized hook lodging itself in your soul, and with all the other hooks, pulling your soul down or apart. And I think most people spend most of their time, most of their lives, trying not to hurt, or trying to convince themselves and others that they don't hurt or they've accepted the hurt. When in reality, all those varieties of pain are inescapable and inexhaustible. You're going to feel them no matter what, and they are never going anywhere. And they hurt so much, even if you know on a conscious level they are inescapable and inexhaustible, you're going to do everything in your power, knowing that, to try to escape them, or try to wear them out, drown them out, something. You know you have to feel the pain, and you're going to do every single thing you can not to feel them. But you can't run from it, you can't hide it, you can't buy your way out of it, you can't trick it. You can't control pain. But pain has mutagenic properties. In Cataclysm: Dark Days Ahead, one of the best games ever made, if you want to mutate, or one of the ways to mutate, if you are small-brained and cowardly, like I am, and can't figure out how to work the mutagens and the accelerants, or whatever they're called, or even to find them, your best method of mutating is to enter a nuclear waste coffin facility, a nuclear mausoleum, kneel down in the middle of them all like you're in a church, and meditate for a few hours until you are almost dead from radiation sickness. And then you drag yourself out because you are on death's door, treat yourself with futuristic technology while still suffering. And I love Cataclysm. It's not just there aren't just health meters, of course, there are pain meters, right? So maybe you can heal yourself of radiation, maybe you can even heal all of your wounds, but you will still be in agony for a week. And it affects gameplay. It's so genius, that game. Anyway, you are outside on the ground in the rain, writhing in agony, and then you get mercifully from the divines granted random mutations. That's the way pain works, in my opinion. Real life pain. Pain is instructive, pain is mutagenic. You can't control pain, but pain will change you if you allow it to change you. If you spend your life, your entire life, resisting pain or looking away from it, trying to deny it, hoping for something different, all you're going to do is stagnate or cripple yourself. I think I've worked out the model of the average Hylic. In terms of physical or mechanical capabilities, they develop only as much as they must to survive on a level deemed acceptable. Now, what acceptable means changes depending on your area, your location in the grand timeline, but the key point is they're going to reach acceptability and then go no further on the mechanical level. And then we have the Disco Elysium conceptualization level. I've found myself doing this when interfacing with the public, and one, I just noticed it, and two, well, I didn't exactly just notice it, but things are lining up. Why does this dude in a Mario baseball cap who doesn't know how to shave understand tax loopholes better than I do, but still hates the libtards? Acceptability. The standard Hylics worldview reflects the worldview you had when you were 9 years old, because a 9-year-old's conceptualization ability is what is acceptable. If you want to connect with the average member of your community better, all you need to do is think of the way you conceptualized the world when you were 9 years old, and you will get along, not famously, but better. And why is that? Philip Seymour Hoffman. When I was a child, was I happy or was I just unaware? There aren't articles of bastardry because they would make you powerful. If you, the grist, walk around with a child's ability to conceptualize or to analyze or to self-reflect, to self-condemn, you're weak and easy to control. Evil and pain are an actual cult, right? Because the people who control things, these are families or guilds, whatever you want to call them, that for centuries have developed an understanding of how to be vile. We got off on a nice, ugly little tangent there, but we're back here now, and the point, before we lose it, is people pacify themselves, stunt themselves, and reach 80 years old with a 9-year-old's mental capabilities and probably a 25-year-old's mechanical capabilities, because one, that's all they need, two, that is what keeps them most docile, what turns them from competent, capable individuals into biological, well, stock, biological fruit trees to be picked. And 3, a level that keeps them comfortable for those 2 prior reasons. Now, this is not to say you should go out and hurt yourself, take the road less traveled, seek pain to become stronger, because that is not the way pain operates. Pain is a mutagen, it's not a steroid. If you meditate in the nuclear mausoleum and let the radiance unmake you, you might not come out stronger, but you could, but you will come out different. And I think the further away from that control frequency you can mutate, even if you don't end up stronger necessarily, you are less mind controlled from the jump. Because the more freakish you become, the fewer standard options are available to you. You are, in other words, forced by necessity to build something different. And the reason you want to do this, if you are someone born with that Chartelian dog in you, is you can make gains. And it's almost unnerving how quickly you can make these gains once you stop fighting that pain or trying to trick it away. Once you accept that pain, not in an I'm making it go away by accepting it sort of way, but in a letting yourself hurt way, and letting it mutate you and instruct you, letting it teach you about ugliness and make you ugly. My legal situation started changing me. And dealing with the public from my professional position started changing me fast. The person I am now and the person I was a year ago are dissimilar. And the person I am now and the person I was 5 years ago, we might as well be different people. And I'm not even 30 yet. Saint O'Neill. About, is it Robert Patterson or Robert Pattinson? I think it's Pattinson. It takes until you're 40 to be a man. When everyone was shitting on Pattinson during his Twilight days for not answer or letting his publicist step in and not let him answer some shitty dating question, a bunch of people were jumping on him and mocking him for it. Interestingly, Saint O'Neill stood up for him, saying he might just be too young to know how to step in and tell that publicist to fuck off and answer the question. Because it takes until you're 40 to be a man. And he was early, I think Pattinson was early 20s at the time, something like that. Not old enough to have that black tar in your veins. Meaning, if you can change this quickly once you accept pain and ugliness, can you imagine the shadow you'll cast in 10 years? 10 years injecting this black tar shit, vileness, into your veins. Can you imagine, like, you'll be a different species. Something I've heard a number of times in my life from a number of people is, I wonder what you'll be like when you're 30. And when I was younger, I didn't get that. Now that I'm closing in on 30, I'm starting to get it. I am starting to resemble a man. Or something in the shape of a man. Now take where you are now, what you are now, and add 10 years. Can you imagine the beast you'll be? And for a dude, late 30s is not that old. I just got done reading The Big Sleep. Marlowe is 38 years old. And 38 isn't even bad for capable women. You let yourself hurt. You let yourself dread. You had a traumatic event, you dwell on that traumatic event. You really are never going to feel safe again. Are you going to try to convince yourself maybe one day you will feel safe somehow, knowing you won't? Or are you going to do something about it? How many heads are you willing to lop off to ensure that never happens to you again? Right? Because none of those people saved you. None of those people helped you. Any one of them could, none of them did. At what point are you going to feel ready to start killing them? For your own safety. And the reason this video is titled Your Best Life is I realized something. There's nobody I'd like to see again. There are no amends I'd like to make. There are no last words I'd like to say. There is nothing in this life I would do differently, because if I did something different, I wouldn't be the person I am right now. And I like the person I am right now. I regret nothing. There is only one real alternative, theoretically feasible Skimmerlit that could have existed. The Hypergooner Skimmerlit. And I'm glad I didn't take that path. Maybe we'll talk about that alternative one day. But this is my best life. It's an ugly, nasty thing that is only going to get uglier. But I can't imagine a hypothetical other Skimmerlit being better than I am right now. And better than I will be later. This is my best life. I am living it. And there are other articles of bastardry. Maybe we should write that. Maybe that's a handbook we should write. There's some other articles of bastardry things I wanted to talk about in this video, but we'll talk about them another time, so we can keep this one a little bit shorter. Let negativity, truth, break you apart and mutate you into something different, and imagine, first, enjoy watching yourself become something different, and then imagine the abomination you'll be in just 10 years. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.